Oh, yes. Another episode. Can you believe we've done 40 of these now?
Well, this is our 40th. This is our 40th.
We've done 40 episodes of Canadian AF, also known as Canadian as fuck. Can you believe this?
Well, we still have to get through this one.
We've started. We've officially started. And as far as things go, as far as I'm concerned, we're live and we've done 40 episodes. So there you go. Craig G here with you, alongside Dimitri Alexiou, who's just a wonderful, wonderful person that, of course, we have talked about 6 million times. We adore him. Beside me, dear friends of the program, Scott Komer has joined us tonight, filling in, yes, golf claps, filling in for our beloved Derek Lewis. Scott, of course, is a lead man in charge of a fantastic band that we adore here at Revolution Radio called The Scary Loud. Evelynne Ross, this is super, super exciting. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. A round of applause. Dimitri, start clapping.
Thank you so much.
Round of applause. There we go. Thank you for joining. Yes, up against the glass. Yeah, thank you, Scott.
Against the fence.
So we appreciate you being here tonight. As you can see, the show has already gone off the rails. We just started. So good luck to you, my friend. We are going to get things going because we got a lot of great music to get to, and we want to speak to our brand new bestie here at the radio station. So, Dimitri, if you don't mind, land acknowledgement, please.
Yes. We acknowledge that the land on which Canadian as fuck is meeting is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. And we also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit.
Thank you very much, my friend. Greatly appreciate it, as always. We got introduced to this lovely person by, I believe, Dimitri, you're going to have to take it away here, my friend, because I believe it was a mutual friend between you and Evelynne.
Well, Well, I don't know how much this is worth our listeners hearing, but the thing is, Evelynne Ross and I have a mutual friend named Nam Hoa. Okay, and like everybody seems to know Nam. I go. All right, Nam and I throughout the pandemic went on a lot of long walks throughout the city.
Oh wow!
And it's alarming the amount of people who recognize him and say hello. You know,
is it alarming?
It's alarming. It's alarming. He delivers the mail.
Oh, okay.
Cool. So yeah, I don't know, but everybody seems to know him. You know,
cool.
And so I don't know. It's not worth our listeners knowing how Evelynne knows him, but like I guess. But if Evelynne wants to say how she knows him.
Well, I used to play soccer with him. I used to play co-ed soccer.
That makes total sense. Yeah. Total sense.
Friday night soccer with Nam.
Okay, cool. We should get started with one of the songs off of her new EP. Oh, and Evelynne, the record release party for this EP is what day?
It's this coming Saturday, January 28th at the Stealth Lounge, the Pilot.
The Stealth Lounge in the Pilot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Upstairs at the Pilot. Yeah.
Okay. So everybody, tickets
available.
Yeah, it's available. I found this on a streaming platform. The EP is called Against the Fence, and this is one of my favorites on the EP easily. This is Evelynne Ross with Let's Fall in Love off of her new EP Against the Fence on Canadian as Fuck on Revolution Radio.
Thank you.
You've got me figured out by now, this I know. I'm likely to up and try to steal the show. When I'm on stage, you're my biggest fan. You're the seat stand, holding on tight when you're going all in. Your hand in my hand is where we begin. And when the dark tugs and twirls at your mind, I've got a light, 'cause we're two of a kind. But these walls become sand at our feet. I do it all again without missing a beat. Let's fall in love, let's fall in love again and again. I've got you, baby, there ain't no better man. I've got the rhythm and you got the rhyme. Living with you, honey, it's like in the summertime. You live in the clouds while I'm on the ground, but we meet in the stars, in the here and now. When we're together, the earth meets the sky. We got it all, baby, when it's you and I. You're the solid ground beneath my feet. I do it all again without missing a beat. Let's fall in love, let's fall in love again and again. I've got you, baby, there ain't no better man. I've got the rhythm and you got the rhyme. Living with you, honey, it's like in the summertime. I'm just under your stars, you're fanning my flame, you're fanning my flame. What I love about us, honey, is we're one and the same. We share the stage that's sitting right under our feet. I do it all again without missing a beat. Let's fall in love, let's fall in love again and again. I've got you, baby, there ain't no better man. I've got the rhythm and you got the rhyme. Living with you, honey, it's like in the summertime. Let's fall in love again and again. Let's fall in love again and again. Again and again. Let's fall in love.
Canadian as fuck on Revolution Radio. That was Evelynne Ross from her brand new EP called Against the Fence, and that was the song Let's Fall in Love. And welcome to the show, Evelyn.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so great to be here.
Yeah, so I've been reading your bio on your website, and you were pretty serious about music from a very young age. Like you sold your car, and all right,
Yep.
it says a few worldly possessions. I don't know what those worldly possessions were, but you sold them.
Not much.
Okay.
Not much.
And
It
you
was a
moved,
child. It was a child.
Yeah.
so you moved to Barbados.
Becky.
You sold your car and moved to Barbados with a loose plan to record jingles for Bajan radios. What as a young girl drew you to Barbados?
It was actually my girlfriend and I were singing together in a band, and it was a long story, but let's just say she was a very pretty girl down on the beach in Barbados with her boyfriend at the time, and a gentleman came up to her and said, started talking, whatever, and it turned out he was the engineer for Eddie Grant for the I'm going to walk down to Electric Avenue.
Oh,
He lived down there.
nice.
So
we know Eddie Grant. Yeah.
right. So so he said, you should, anyway, they got to talking. She's in a band, blah, blah, blah. You should come down here. I can get you hooked up with jingles and doing jingles and stuff. So she came home and told me about it. We were like, we should just do it. Like, why not? And so that's kind of how the plan came together. He was supposed to find us a house. We ended up not finding a house. We ended up living with the sound engineer at the studio. In
You
his
lived.
house
You
with his
lived at the
girlfriend.
studio. You lived at the
No.
studio.
No, with the sound engineer and his girlfriend in a house. And yeah, the rest is sort of history. So yeah, we were doing jingles at the time and getting paid like $10 a minute for studio time. So it's a pretty good gig.
Well, you were a teenager.
I was
pretty
22.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you weren't a teenager.
No.
Did you ever run into your car since? Have you ever?
No, that's a
No?
good question.
And I
No.
wonder if your car like understood, like probably had some hard feelings at the time, but
Very
in
upset-
hindsight would be
very
like, you
upset
know
with
what, I
me.
would have done that too. Done that in Barbados.
Right.
Well, that sounds
For
like
sure.
that sounds like an awesome experience for a young person. How long did that last?
We were there almost 6 months.
Okay.
And it's a really crazy story because honestly, like, it's just the Stones came down about 2 weeks
Yeah.
after we got there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Talk
hung
about
with them.
All right. All right. Spill more about
Spill?
more about the Rolling Stones, please.
Oh, I thought you meant the Flintstones. Okay, this makes way more sense. Okay.
I would have been equally impressed. Actually, so it was just like sort of right place, right time, completely that. So the people that this guy didn't end up getting us a house. We got off the plane. He had been promising us a house of our own. We ended up having to stay with this woman and this other. Do you remember an artist? I think he was kind of big in the 80s. He was sort of a one-hit wonder, Glenn Johansson. Does that name ring a bell?
Johansson.
He was a Torontonian.
I kind of
He has a
remember.
song, I feel like I'm
that's
walking
ringing
a
a bell.
fine line.
That's ringing a bell. That's
Yeah.
ringing a bell. Yeah.
So I think the song was actually called Walking a Fine Line.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, he was the engineer at Eddie Grant's studios. So because we were living with him, I can't really tell the whole story on radio, like if anyone, but let's just say that Mick Jagger came over for something, nothing sexual, but just for something. And anyway, we ended up hanging out that night because he had flown into the island and obviously knew the sound engineer and his girlfriend who we were living with. And so that's it. They came down and they wrote Steel Wheels there, most of it. And we got to hang out at the studio while they wrote it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And nothing bad happened. I mean, we were really good girls, actually. Honestly, boring as hell. Yeah.
Couple of good Canadian girls, just hanging out with the Rolling
Good
Stones.
Canadian girls. Well, they had their models flown in, so we were
I do that.
As you do. You know. I'm not as rich as the Rolling Stones, so like I have to give my models like bus fare, you know, to get them to go.
My models are dogs, like for calendars, like dog
Fantastic.
calendars.
Fabulous.
That's funny. Yeah, so it was an experience. I'm not going to lie, and when you're that age, you don't really understand sort of how major of an experience it really is.
Well, yeah.
Sure.
Like Steel Wheels ended up being a huge album for the Stones.
I saw that
Like,
too.
It was big.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
That was at the CNE grandstand. Yeah, actually, Living Color. Everybody remember Living Color, the band?
Yeah.
Massive.
They
That was a big
opened up-
break for them.
they
That
opened
was a
up for the
big
Stones
break
on
for
that
them.
But they
It was
played the
amazing.
Rogers Center that one.
Yeah.
I went to it as well. And
Yeah,
we
that's right.
We were
Yeah,
backstage.
that's right. So the first time they did two legs because it was
You're right.
so
I
popular.
think you're right.
And the
Yeah,
first one I
that's
saw was
true.
at CNE Grandstand, and the second one was at Rogers. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, sorry, Evelyn, I'm going to say Sky Dome. It was at the Sky Dome. Forget
Yes.
Rogers Center.
Right. True. That's what it was
Yeah,
called.
the dome.
So I just found that it was actually Johansson, just so you know, was the name of the band.
No
And,
first name?
and
no
Walking-
first name?
Walking
his
a
name
Fine
is
Line.
Glenn, but yes.
Walking a Fine Line. Yeah, cool. Then that was
Next,
1988.
next week on Canadian as Fuck, you know?
Exclusively Johansson. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
a Johansson special.
So if we may, I'd like to talk about this record.
Yeah.
So when did the writing process for this record start?
actually in COVID, to be honest.
Mhm.
It was sort of like, I guess I had started a couple of, I'd been writing for a while already, and then COVID hit, and I just had tons of time, and so
Can I
at that
stop you
point-
there for a second? What's
Yeah.
COVID? I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
If I had-
Don't interrupt
if
the
I had
story.
If I had the audience,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember like Barbara Walters like interrupting her interviewees with joke. Anyway,
Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, so I was spending quite a bit of time just sort of on my own, obviously not getting out, not doing, normally like I am in a cover band. I've been in for about 20 years, over 20 years. And so we play a lot and we get a lot of gigs and stuff, and, have quite a bit of fun with that, but obviously nobody was playing.
Evolution?
Correct. Yeah. And so it just gave me a lot of time to write. So Let's Fall in Love was actually written, like one day I just went for a walk, and basically the entire, like I would say 3/4 of the song sort of just like kind of came into my head as you hear it.
Yeah, the thing about Let's Fall in Love that I think gives it's like one of the things that gives it its charm, because it's a very charming song, but it's like just this very simplistic guitar triad, like arpeggio thing going on in the background. It's like that's kind of constant, that sort of gives the song its momentum. And so I don't know if that's something that when you went for a walk you heard that arpeggio,
No, I wouldn't say that. No, I think
do you
the melody
typically
was
have
definitely.
Sorry,
Sorry, go ahead.
you typically have melody and lyrics first, sort of thing, and then when you write.
Yeah, like I would say the melody always first, and a lot of times they come separately. Like the lyrics will come on their own, and then a melody will come, and then they don't always fit together right away, or I don't know that they fit together right away. And then sometimes it's just sort of like these pieces of the puzzle that kind of fit together. That's how I see it anyway. It just sort of like they're meant for each other.
And then do you sit down with a guitar or something afterwards to
Yeah, I play guitar.
Guitar-based,
so I play them, and then and I generally, like, I would say they're usually pretty, like, almost done, if not fully done, like 98% done when I take them to, or more, when I take them to Marie, who is my producer, Marie Foster, and good friend also. We've been friends for a really long time, so he understands sort of how to interpret my music, or at least what I'm trying to say.
Does he play soccer on Fridays?
He does, not with me, but
Okay.
plays someone with another team.
Okay.
I don't know what to make of you tonight, Dimitri. I really don't. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, it's all good. Sorry, Evelynne.
Okay. Yeah. So that's sort of how that came to be. So that song, it was almost done, but actually I will say that I have a co-writer on that song too. So my friend, Megan Collier Bands will help me with that one as well.
Well, kudos to her as well. And so now do you feel that your time in Barbados, like did that influence your musical development, like other than like working with, like, did you work with Eddie Grant or just
no.
Okay.
No. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say. I mean, like, it was really, we were there we were doing jingles, and they were silly jingles, like whatever. I don't even remember things about toothpaste and things like that. So we weren't really, like, I wasn't really exploring my musical talents or my creative talents, let's say, while I was there. And frankly, there's a lot of fun things to do in Barbados when you're 22. So,
yeah.
Music wasn't number one, or not in that way anyway.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always have to ask the question. I'm sure you may have been asked a gazillion times, and I'm sorry, but I do always love to find out from musicians, especially songwriters, who were some of your earliest influences?
Yeah, so I would say, I mean, like, honest to God, it started as a very young girl. My dad was really into music. So he had tons and tons and tons of albums and 8-track tapes. And, you know, I used to listen to them incessantly and just like write down all the words and like try to learn everything. So we're talking like everything from, honestly, like Bobby Vinton and like all of the Big Bopper and all the stuff from the 50s, like Rockin' Robin, all that stuff, all the way through to like, you know, Neil Young, Fleetwood Mac, Sheryl Crow, like all that stuff. So it's just kind of like all been incorporated. I've been sort of a musical junkie for a long time. Worked in a record store for years, so like know a lot.
Which one?
Yeah, Sam the Record Man. In
you work at
Richmond
Sam's.
Hill.
Nice.
Yeah,
like
I
like
did,
the Young Street location, or
Yep.
wow,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, another.
No, like in Richmond Hill. Sorry, the
okay.
Young Street in Richmond Hill. Yeah,
Got
up
it.
north,
Got
not
it.
on the actual, the main place.
Was that up around 16th Avenue?
Yep, that's exactly
That's
where it
right.
was.
I remember that one. Yeah, I used to work at Cosmo Music actually. So
Did you really?
The old Cosmo Music
Yes,
store.
I know. I used to go in there all the time.
Yeah, I used to work there. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
I worked in basically every music store. It was always a running joke with all my pals in the music industry. If I worked at every music store except for Long and McQuaid, that's the only one I haven't worked at. Worked
Who's
everywhere.
ever heard of that?
Worked at Steve's. I worked at Just Drums. I worked at Walters. I worked at Cosmo.
Wow.
I worked. Yeah.
It's a hilarious joke, yeah. But
You know what, Dimitri? Oh, Dimitri, I'm coming after you now, buddy. That's it. All right, the gloves are off. Here we go. No, it's awesome. I'm just wondering in regards to I always wonder about influences, because that's one of the things I love about listening to this record. There's a million things that you can kind of pull from the sounds on this record. Like the next song that we're going to play, I absolutely adore, because to me, it literally feels like an Indigo Girls tune. And I love the Indigo Girls. I love them.
Oh, thank you.
The harmonies in the song, the feel of it, the acoustics, just the way that the song was recorded. It literally feels like I'm listening to the Go Girls. So, but anyway, I'm glad it's you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
that's very nice of you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're called Canadian as fuck. Is there?
Are we?
Yeah, we are. As a,
I'm in the wrong place. I think I am so sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, I deserve that. But all right. So
let's call a truce, Dimitri. Let's call a truce. Okay.
As a Canadian musician, Evelynne, what are some things that you think that the Canadian music scene does well to support musicians, and what are some things that you think that they could do better?
Great question.
Oh, I wish I could. Yeah, it is a good question. I wish I had a snappy answer for you. You know what? I'm going to be really honest about it. I'm, as from an independent artist perspective, this is pretty new ground for me. Like, I'll be honest, like I wrote in my 20s and then sort of stopped and had a couple of kids and sort of got into my career and really spent a lot of time there. And music, in terms of what I was doing with it, was really mostly covers, right? So I was just looking, getting into venues, playing regularly, and we were doing a ton of corporate stuff, and we still do all of that. So in terms of the independent artist experience, I'm probably I'm kind of really a novice, and I wish I had some snappy things that I could contribute, but I honestly don't know. All I know is that it's a sea out there. It's an absolute sea of people. And so it's sort of I feel like, as far as just kind of going out there doing my thing, I think there's so much support, and there is within the music community, people are very, very supportive of one another, even though there is just so many people. Everybody sort of has time to listen, really support. I find that in my songwriting community, people are very supportive of their friends, their cohorts, other songwriters. And so from that point of view, I think we do pretty well, but I don't know beyond that in terms of on a larger scale, what we could do.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish I could tell you. I don't know yet.
No, that's great.
Still learning.
Yeah. I do. Sorry, Dimitri. I do tend to agree with that. In a lot of ways, I find that a lot of promoters and musicians, and I'm sure Scott's had a million of these experiences as well too, just like you have also, Evelynne. Of we hope and pray that the kind of philosophy for especially for Canadians and Canadian talent is that sort of philosophy of like the rising tide raises all boats kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that I'm really hoping that that's the case, because when I worked in radio back in the day, that's what we were all about. We were all about, like, if you're a Canadian artist, we're going to hope and pray that we're going to get to you, but at least give us your stuff so we can hear you and we can, like get your CD in front of us so that we can, try and do our best to at least get you played on air, if not on regular rotation on maybe something like the live to air shows that I used to do. That was one of the great things about doing the club shows, is we could play pretty much anything that we could get our hands on. So I hope that that's the case, but I do know that there's a lot of things in the Canadian industry that could really be fixed.
I'm sure. And I think also, I just think that from the ground level where I sit, and just in terms of like really kind of just breaking into the communities over the last couple of years, 2-3 years, I just find that they're very supportive communities. People really do lift each other up, and I think that's great. I think it's wonderful that we can find our pockets and find our audiences in that community, and then beyond. It tends to extend beyond, because we share communities together as well.
Excellent.
How much did you play live prior to COVID, and since, how much sort of have you done?
Oh, quite a lot. Like I do quite a lot. I mean, I'm really lucky that I have, a really supportive partner, and he, so even when my kids were really little, like it was kind of consistent that we would be out, definitely not every weekend, but a few times a month, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, we had some standing kind of, gigs that we were always
sort of
residencies
kind of thing.
Night.
Yeah.
Now, is this the cover band or your
the cover? Yeah, okay. The cover band. So it was always covers up until, I'm going to say, like 4 or 5 years ago. Then I started introducing my originals, and then it's now sort of swinging to, well, now I'm doing all original, but we still do cover stuff, for the corporate gigs and things like that.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I played in cover bands too for years. I loved it. It's fun.
Okay, well, cool.
People get into it, love it. They love it. Yeah. They love it.
Oh, it's a good night out. It's a good night out.
Yep.
For sure.
And so before we go to to play your second song, and let you take the rest of your night to yourself, I just want to know, like, so what are some of your Canadian artists' favorites? What are some of your favorite Canadian artists?
Oh God. Well, I'm a big. I love the women. I love a lot of the women. Sarah Harmer.
So do we. Yep.
Kathleen Edwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alanis Morissette. I mean, just it never ends. There's just so many talented women, and I can't even think. I mean, like even more locally, like
I noticed
Angie Nessie, and
I noticed that our mutual friend Nam is in the chat on Twitch, and he said his favorite concert from last year was Alanis Morissette. So so fantastic.
Serena Ryder, like there's just an endless. Chantal Kraviazuk.
Yeah.
There's just there's so many talented women, but I'm also like a huge hip fan. Like I grew up with the hip. Neil Young, spent countless hours.
Legend.
And there's 100%. Like I just literally, Joni Mitchell, obviously the queen of Canada from like rock royalty kind of thing. But so many talented women, and artists in general, right? Just it's like I think we in my cover band we actually do that sometimes, just do the entire show all Canadian artists only. So I'm a big believer in Canadian artists.
Really? Just Canadian? So you just focus on we'll
do nights like that. Yep.
We'll do the whole night just
very Canadian. Cool. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's really
all
cool.
right.
I'm just in the process. Sorry if you don't mind me saying so really quick, because I'm actually really excited. So I've been a musician for years, but I injured myself. So I've been getting therapy, and I finally managed to get myself back to playing. And
Craig is a drummer.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
fun.
So cool. I'm putting together a band. I'm in the process of putting together a cover band just to get back into it, just to have some fun.
Good for you.
One of the artists because I've got to have women in the band, right? Like I've got to have everybody in the band. One of the two of the artists that I'm going to have a lot of fun with, Human League And Animotion,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course. Everybody remembers Animotion, right? The beginning of fashion. This is fashion television. Bam,
Right.
bam, 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 bam. Yeah, exactly, right? The other one is a wonderful Canadian, Lorena McKennett, who
Oh,
I
yeah.
absolutely
Fantastic.
adore.
Right.
So,
Well, that's kind of
Fantastic.
a departure from Animotion.
a little bit.
Yeah, just a
Quite
little.
a bit. Quite a bit, actually, yeah. Anyway,
Well,
sorry.
Funny.
Well, congratulations on this very, very, very cool EP.
Yeah.
Against
Thank you
the
so
Fence.
much.
Do you mind just filling us in one more time in regards to the CD release party? Let us know all the details, and we're going to
Yeah.
put it up on the stream chat here so everybody can see it.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so it's Saturday night, January 28th. Tickets are still available. $20 a ticket, and you get a CD with it. We've got some great, absolutely stellar talent in my band. Every single one of them is more talented than the next one. And then I have an opening. The guy that's opening the show, Tyler Ellis, also very well known local Canadian songwriter and performer. And yeah, so it's at the Pilot upstairs at the South Lounge, 7 p.m. The doors open, and it is going to rock.
And that's in Yorkville.
Yorkville, yeah.
Yeah.
The Pilot?
yeah, very-
Okay, got it. All right, we're
Yeah.
going to put that in
Very
the
cool.
stream chat for sure, and we'll also put it up on the on our radio station as well, revolutionradio.live. So,
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been
Well,
wonderful.
thank you so much
Thank
for
you for your
joining
time.
us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I hope it wasn't too painful. And
No, not at all.
and so we're going to so everybody make sure you get over to the Pilot on Saturday night, and we're going to let Evelynne Ross go with the album closer from Against the Fence. This is Canadian as Fuck on Revolution Radio, and this is Rinse and Repeat by Evelynne Ross.
Thank you so much, all
thank
of
you again. Thank you so much for coming on. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
And there you were. Felt like I'd seen you before. Just the same person come through my revolving door. The same words, the same moves. You got nothing new. In a sea of liars, I'm looking for the truth. Now I'm tired of this being a one-way street. Those hollow words are nothing but rinse, repeat. Wanna see the red flags instead of waving the white. The show is over, I've got a new story to write. And so it's time I get off this carousel. I'm done playing these games, and you're giving me hell. We go up, we go down, but our highest highs still hit the ground. So tell me, how can I get off this merry-go-round? Now I'm tired of this being a one-way street. Those hollow words are nothing but rinse, repeat. Wanna see the red flags instead of waving the white. The show is over, I've got a new story to write. I've been going round in circles, doing the same things, having the same fights and pulling the same strings. They all tell me one thing, but then show me another. It's time I find my way out and run for cover. Those hollow words are nothing but rinse, repeat. Wanna see the red flags instead of waving the white. The show is over, I've got a new story to write. The show is over, I've got a new story to write.